Good day, everyone, and welcome to the SuperTalk. Excited about today's topic. I'm here with Mr. Mark May, who is our Director for Marketing and Communication, also the producer of the SuperTalk. I'm Jay Gonzalez, Superintendent of Schools. We're going to be talking about a very cool topic today, so I hope a lot of students are checking out the SuperTalk today. Mark, tell us about it.
Well, we've got two very special guests here. We've got Mr. Robert Saldana, who teaches principles of applied engineering and robotics, engineering design, and presentation, plus digital electronics. Some really cool classes at McAllen High School. He's been a teacher for 12 years. His team is called the Gigabots. They took third place in the Innovate Award category in the Edison division for the First Teach Challenge competition. They competed at the World's competition. This was held in Houston just recently. There was 192 teams, 22 countries represented there. It was quite a group there, and Mackay really shined through. And then our other guest, we have a Mackay sophomore, Christopher Ham. He's the captain of the Gigabots robotics team that took third at the World's competition, and this is his second year in robotics, so he's learning quite a bit already.
Well, that's exciting. As a former science teacher, I can tell you that McAllen ISD is not only impressed with the performance of our robotics teams that have been in existence for the last 7 years, but more than that, just how the robotics component really brings learning to life and makes learning fun. It's a true testament to the hard work of our teachers. So I do want to thank our teachers and our students, but just bringing that scientific method to life. And then that's really what it's about when you talk about maneuvering life. It's just these series of problems, and then you follow these sets of processes, and you collect data and draw conclusions on whether your hypothesis was correct on that particular problem. And it's just a cycle of that. So robotics does that for our students. It combines mathematics, it combines English language arts, it combines art. It does so much more than just robotics, and the essence of teamwork. You talk about being a team member on a football team or a volleyball team. The same essence is true with regard to robotics and the teamwork that goes into that. So we're excited. We're just so excited about how we're doing. And not only that, but to be competing at the world level when you're competing with teams from across the globe and not just across Texas. So we're very excited to have Mr. Robert Saldana here. Sir, thank you for everything that you do for our students, because I know you're not only a great teacher, but you also put a lot of passion into our robotics program. So if you would, sir, tell us a little bit about the McAllen ISD robotics program.
McAllen ISD Robotics. So this is our actually the 8th season, because Roe was the first one to start it. And then the following year, the rest of the high schools, they started to have their own teams. And what they did is they really built up this program. We recruit students from all walks of life. We don't want just students that know how to build, know how to code. We want anybody. If you're good at video editing, art, design, if you know how to design wardrobe, we want these guys to look good when they're driving these robots, right? So those matter as well. We want people to communicate with industry professionals. So these guys get in touch with all of those engineers, industry professionals, as well as we also just want these guys to have fun. There's one thing that you'll notice at any robotics event is that these kids, they're not going to always have the best performing robot. But the one thing you will notice is that everyone's having a blast. It doesn't really matter if you're first or last. Like everyone is everyone has the same thinking and the same mindset. And it's always fun just to kind of go in there and give it your best. And, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you win some awards, right? All your hard work does pay off. But, and when it doesn't, it's okay. You still have a lot of memories. You still remember from those mistakes. And going back to the scientific method, your hypothesis isn't always correct. And that's one thing that we have been really good at throughout the years, is getting these kids to understand, across all the high schools, is that we don't want you to come to robotics being scared to make mistakes. We want you to make those mistakes, because that is truly where the learning is happening. The more mistakes you make, the more you're going to learn. And if you keep on building and building, eventually, when you're in your senior year, hopefully you've built up so many mistakes that you'll have enough successes that'll lead you on to great successes in life.
I love that. So to all the parents out there, all the students, know that there's an open invitation. All students are welcome to compete in the robotics division with the robotics teams at all of our high schools. Our teachers are open. Different skill sets, right? So we're looking for synergy. And we talk about the fact that some people may be the individuals communicating the game plan on the team, and others may be the ones that are building the actual machine, and others are the ones designing the wardrobes for the team members. But everybody on the team coming together, just like any great business across the world, all has people with different skill sets. Everybody's some kind of smart. And when you deal with robotics and you're on a team, you're definitely going to leverage what you bring to the table, what your passion is, and we invite everybody to do that because we want to keep going to the world competition. We want to keep competing on this level. So we're blessed to have Christopher Ham here, who is a captain on his team and a great student at McAllen High. And let us know, Chris, what's it like to compete in robotics?
So, like in my experience, I joined robotics not even liking robotics. It was just like a club that my friends decided to join, so I said, why not? And starting off, especially this year, none of our team members did really know how to make a robot. It was me who had no experience with a robot. It was a teammate that just crocheted. It was just a bunch of people that was super new to first. So, but we worked with what we have. Since we didn't know how to make a robot, we use our talents that we did have. Like for me, I play music. I remember, like I said, she crochets. So we implemented that to our fundraisers. We implemented that to the business side of our team to reach out to engineering mentors and professionals that actually help us make our robot. And I think without that extra bit of help, we wouldn't have gotten to the world's level.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris, just listening to your explanation, it makes me happy because you're just so far ahead because you've gone through this experience. I think that understanding how to compete at the world level, but more than that, just understanding the essence of relationships and understanding that everybody brings something special to the table and just proclaiming that, hey, at one point I wasn't really interested, but my friends, my peer group got me in, and then we not only went on to do it, but we went on to be some of the very best at it. So on behalf of the district, on behalf of our school board and everybody else, I just want to say congratulations, Chris, and congratulations, Mr. Saldana, because it's something new. If you think McAllen ISD has been in existence for 108 years, and we're 7 years into this journey on robotics, and we have programs like Tech Wars that came about because we're committed to robotics, and we don't just want it to be cool to be the district champion in football or the district champion in volleyball. We want the kids that win the rocketry division, under the underwater robotics division, the battle bots, the drone racing, whatever it is that we do at Tech Wars, we want that same level of pride. And we know right now it's a cross-district competition, but we're hoping that one day it becomes an invitational where school districts from across the region and maybe even across the state can come compete with us. So we're excited about that. So I know that there's a lot of parents that are definitely interested. I know that there's kids that are interested. So Mr. Saldana, what skills do kids learn in the program?
So a lot of people that join robotics, they come from my courses, right? That's I would say 50% of it. They know how to build, they know how to design simple things, and they learn all those skills throughout their life, and they try to bring those to the table. And of course, those in the course, throughout the course, they'll pick up on those skills. The designing, the building, the 3D CAD design. And of course the coding, which is a huge area of it. But like I mentioned before, we want students that can bring other things to the table. So really, like anybody who has any skills, and even if they don't have those skills, if you just know how to use Instagram very well and have a large following, guess what? We need you. We need to be having you promote our teams. There's lots of teams out there, and they look so flashy on the internet. They have videos of their robots, and they do cool robot reveals where they have smoke and lights and all this other stuff. So if you're in video production, guess what? We want you in robotics. We want you to promote how good of a teams we have. We want you to promote, all the hard work that these guys are doing throughout the year. Not only that, we also have a huge outreach program where these guys, one of the huge things that he didn't mention is they adopted La Vista Park. And what they did is they're committed to 6 cleanups a year, and they organize volunteers to come and clean up that park. And of course, they have a blast doing it. They give them hot dogs and waters and all that stuff. But that kind of sparked a whole idea for their team, and their team ended up having a gimmick. It was environmental sustainability. So their whole concept from their team was everything's going to be environmentally safe. Everything we do is going to be talking about the environment. So they used that to propel their team, and even their logo was just kind of like this polar bear. It's very iconic now. We love that logo. It's really brilliant, which of course he designed. And so we need people for all aspects to come and help us do those things. If you don't really want to learn robotics, but you want to get volunteer hours and you don't really have a club to help you do that, hey, we'll find a spot for you. Do you know how many hours that we did through your team throughout the season?
So from last year's events, we have provided 172 hours of community service for students to earn. And for next year especially, we've already planned, just like from our planned events already, we have 72 hours for each person.
Wow.
So that's
yeah, it's huge.
If we have like 30, 50 people doing it, that's already like in the thousands of hours.
So one thing I will also add is, they started to promote first, because the whole idea is not only to promote robotics, but promote the first program, which we'll talk more in a moment. They started to go to the McAllen Art Walks on Friday, and they would set up a booth and show people their robot. And we started to laser cut. We have a laser cutter here at McAllen High School. They started to laser cut these keychains to help promote their team, and they became a thing. So, of course, we decided, we're going to laser cut as many keychains as we can, and we're going to give them away as swag at Worlds. And sure enough, like, everyone at Worlds comes to your table and your booth, and they want a keychain, and they put it on their bag, they put it on their robots. Super fun.
So to all the kids out there, all the parents, it's more than just the robots. It's more than just the scientific principles. There's just life lessons in this. There's opportunities for community service. There's opportunities to meet new friends. There's opportunities to meet people with different skill sets. But there's one thing that I was thinking, and I don't believe that I've ever met a student, and I've been in education for 28 years, but I've never met a student that competed at the world level. I've met many that have competed at district, at regional, at state, at nationals, but never have I met a student that competed on a world platform where you're competing with students from different continents, and it's the same competition, it's the same standard, and there's so many different languages and so many different cultures and so many different kids and teachers coming together. What a beautiful thing that must be. So, Chris, what was your experience at the Worlds?
So, I mean, when you go into that competition period, it's overwhelming. You see just hundreds of teams from countries that you didn't even know existed, and you meet so many people that you realize how big like the organization that you're in is, and you're a part of it. So those people that are from Kazakhstan or Mexico, they come to your we have like this pit where we have all of where we're going to robot for our next matches, and they come into your pit and they like talk to your team like in such like in astonishment, and it's from your team as well. So it's just like a indescribable feeling that like you guys are we're all so different, and yet here we are competing for similar goals, and we're all part of a family, even if we're like separated by thousands of miles. So it's you get to connect with a lot more people, and it's like also gives you this feeling like that it's just a lot.
And that's something that's very special. And in McAllen ISD, we're about giving our students experiences, and we're about making sure that our students understand that they can compete with anybody, anywhere. And these world competitions are a prime example of that. And just reaching that level is something special. So we are going to be hearing from 2 additional students. I do want to thank Mr. Saldana, and I want to thank Christopher Ham for being here. So you're watching the Super Talk, and we'll continue our discussion about robotics in just a moment.
We are about learning.
We are about safe environments.
We are about going the extra mile.
We We're about exploring our horizons.
We are about opportunities for all.
We are about excellence.
Well, welcome back to the Super Talk, everybody. Having a great conversation about robotics in McAllen ISD with our wonderful staff and our students. And Mark, tell us about our special guests.
All right, we have two memorial students here who are part of the Class 5A state champions in robotics. Lily Martinez on the left is a Memorial High student. She's in engineering and robotics club president and captain of the UIL Texas State Championship team known as Osiris. And she plans to study engineering at a 4-year university. And then Diego Nelson on the right is also a student at Memorial. He's the designer and driver for the state championship team, Osiris. And this is his first year in robotics. He plans to study mechanical engineering at Texas A&M University.
Well, that's beautiful. And I know for me, Mark, as you were telling the story, I couldn't help but just feel the chills because 7 years ago, we had a vision for taking robotics to just great heights in McAllen ISD. And all these years later, we're sitting before these students that have competed at the world level, that have won a state championship. Look at this. Look at that right there. That right there is a state championship trophy. And these are very hard to come by. But at McAllen ISD, we're a district of champions. Our kids they work hard. They're resilient. They are tenacious. They'll outwork you. They'll outthink you. And we have evidence to prove that we can compete, not only at the state level, but at the world level. And we're very proud of that. So Lily and Diego, I just, on behalf of the administration and the board, just thank you all. Thank you all for being pioneers. If you think about McAllen ISD, I was thinking about that, Mark. We've been in existence for 108 years. And of those 108 years, 7, 8, we've been doing robotics at a world-class level. So Lily, tell us, how has robotics influenced you?
So my experience in robotics has really influenced my way I look at, engineering and robotics, the opportunity as a whole. Being in this organization has kind of opened my eyes to see that we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different stories, but we all want to come together to kind of complete one common goal. And especially going to the World Championship has really opened my eyes to that.
And I can't even wrap my mind around that. I was talking about that. I was talking to Chris earlier about the fact that I don't believe I've ever met students that competed at the world level. I mean, I've met, in my 28 years, I've met many of district level, regional level, state level, national level, but just the fact that you're competing on a global platform, it's almost hard to wrap my mind around, but we're very, very proud of that fact. And Diego, there's a lot that goes into robotics. In our conversation earlier on the Super Talk, we were talking about all the intricacies that they just are beyond the robot, the artwork, the way that there's even costume designed and how you get it out on social media and how you build relationships. But with regard to the process for building the robot, what's that like?
So first you have to make a CAD model design usually. So we use Fusion 360 in McAllen ISD, and we also teach it through the CT courses, and you get certified. But for the robot, we start with a CAD model design to try and most efficiently compete in the tech challenge. So, and then after that, you start building, iterating, making new designs. First you prototype, you test it out, see how it works. Then you just make it better, and you keep doing that over and over again until it's time for competition. You take it out there, you compete, and then you do it all over again. You keep just making it better.
I love that. I mean, as you're talking about computer animated drafting, that's just the same way that skyscrapers are built. That's the same way airplanes are built. That's just the essence of just architecture. Not only that, but engineering. So the fact that as you build this robot, you're building life skills that are going to prepare you as an engineer in the future. And that's what's so exciting, parents and students that are listening. And that's why we want so many kids involved in this, because it's just it's beyond robotics. And it doesn't mean that if you're a football player or a volleyball player or a cheerleader or whatever else you're doing, it doesn't mean you can't compete in robotics also, because we want our kids to be diverse. We want our kids to not only compete in athletics, they compete in fine arts too, and jump on the robotics team and learn how to weld. And if you want, learn how to fly an airplane. We got everything for our students in McAllen ISD, but specifically around robotics, Lily, why should kids join robotics in your opinion?
So I think kids should join robotics because they can learn so many amazing skills through it. Not only do we learn technical skills like how to build a robot or how to code a robot, but we also learn life skills, things like empathy and social skills, self-awareness, self-motivation. We really use those within the process of building this robot, and this program really helps to further develop these skills for us.
And that's beautiful. As in Lily's answer, she mentioned the 5 domains of emotional intelligence, and that just made my day because in McAllen ISD, we don't only want our students to be book smart, we want them to be people smart and self-smart. And a big part of that is understanding yourself from a self-awareness standpoint, as you mentioned, or being able to self-regulate your emotions when you're competing on a world platform or where you're trying to meet a deadline, or staying motivated when things don't go your way, or having empathy and social skills when you're meeting people throughout the state or the country. So that makes me happy, Lily. And I think that as people watch this Super Talk, I'm just hoping that this conversation inspires a student that was on the fence and maybe thinking, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Well, this Super Talk here is here to tell you that you should join. And to all the parents out there, you should look into it, and you should get your children involved in it, because this is going to help your children reach greater heights, and it's going to really give them skill sets that are going to prepare them for life. And that's what McAllen ISD is all about. We want our kids to go out and make a difference on a global platform. So Diego, what's been your most memorable experience with regard to being a part of robotics?
I would say it's winning at state. Well, not just winning, but just being there and seeing what other people come up with, interacting with more people. Because the robotics, it's not just like, oh yeah, you build a robot, you compete, you win. It's about the experience as well. It's fun to win, it's fun to do everything, but a lot of the things that people come up with at that level is just super fun to see. It's great. Some people made a game, and I spent some time doing that. I was part from the robot, and it's just amazing to see what people can do.
And I know that there's a lot of kids interested in esports, and there's a lot of kids that are doing gaming, and this is congruent with that. So everything that you're doing with regard to the gaming that you're doing aligns perfectly with robotics. So once again, to all the parents out there, to all the students, McAllen ISD is here to offer your children diverse experiences, and robotics is one of those. We've competed at the world level. I'm sitting in front of state champions right now. I look at those medals, and I'm so proud of the fact that y'all are wearing state championship medals. I'm so proud of the fact that I could show the community this. Look at that. This is a state championship trophy that our students fought for, and this is a visual representation of the greatness that we have in McAllen ISD. And this is just the beginning. We're just getting warmed up. So get ready, world. Here we come. Thank you all for joining the Super Talk. Hope you enjoyed.